YouTubers and YouTuberettes, this is ConorArmCEO here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to a brand new vlog. It's a review of a film that I watched last night that I've been waiting for a long time. Like 4 months ago I reacted to the trailer, and then a month ago I reacted to the final one, and just last night I sat back with my popcorn and my soda and relaxed and watched the brand new 2018 40 years in the making Halloween movie starring Nick Castle and Jamie Lee Curtis, where Nick Castle returns as Michael Myers and Jamie Lee Curtis returns from beyond the grave as Laurie Strode. But of course, 1978 story and moving 40 years later to the 2008 story. And the way that it starts off, where you just where you get to see these two individuals who are looking to make some discoveries, things that they want to discover, like what brought Michael Myers to do this in the first place. And then they walk into the asylum, Smith Grove Asylum, where he has been for the past since he murdered his sister. 15 years in the asylum. He escaped, trying to get his hands on everybody he wants to kill by killing 2 babysitters and one of the babysitter's boyfriend, and then coming to kill Laurie Strode, but she was the one to survive, along with Dr. Samuel Loomis, who's no longer around in this film. And then he spent 40 years back in Smith Grove, so he's been basically been in Smith Grove for 55 years. I mean, he's been there since he was 6, and then he's been there since he was in his 20s. And then they approached him, and then they speak to this new psychiatrist who was obsessed with Michael Myers. He was basically Dr. Samuel Loomis, but he was the anti-Dr. Samuel Loomis, and you'll know exactly why. They approached him, and they both have their own exercises, their diets, you know, basically working on a routine to make sure that they work well with others and see if they can make recuperation, make an improvement, you know, get themselves back into society, you know, get back out there. And so they're still chained up in some parts, you know, the people that are not completely sane, and then they're staying in this yellow squared area, especially with a fella who goes a wee bit insane if he sees a person with his shoelace undone. And obviously he was the guy who was willing to interview Michael Myers was being told about it, and then so he tied a shoelace because he didn't want to start a ruckus. So he wanted to see what would make Michael Myers tick and what would trigger him off. He took out his mask that he took from a precinct, you know, just to prove a point to see what will take him off, and he just stood there, and then it was nothing. Then he decided to drive off in the middle of the forest to speak to Laurie Strode, who kept herself away from everything, surrounded by trees, busted up mannequins covered in bullet holes, and spotlights, and security cameras, security gates. And the only way that she let them in was the female assistant that says, "We are willing to give you $3,000 to talk to us." And then the gate opens. Then they spoke about what happened 40 years ago, which did take pretty hard, and they had to push her button when they mentioned the divorce and the child separation. And then she just basically said nothing else and said, "I'll take my pay now, get out." And it was awesome what she did with that money. She didn't use it for herself. And then the youngest daughter in the family, Laurie Strode's granddaughter from her daughter, who grew up, got married, and have a child. The daughter kept asking, "When am I going to meet my grandmother? Have you told her about tonight?" And she just basically said, "Yeah, she might not be able to come." In other words, might not be able. And then, long story short, we saw some familiar things, like she was sitting in the exact same corner where Laurie Strode did in 1978, where she saw Michael Myers staring outside of a car where he stole from Dr. Samuel Loomis. Only but this time it was Laurie that stood outside watching over her granddaughter. Then during football practice, I think she was on a free period, he handed her the $3,000. And then she said to herself, "Oh, I'll keep it for college funding." She's all like, "Oh, fuck college, go to Mexico, have fun." And then basically right up to her fist, she's just saying, "Do you still have to keep up with this? It's been 40 years. Just walk up to him and say goodbye," because they were sending him away, like they were originally going to do 40 years ago. And then, right there that night, she stood there with a gun to her hand and taking every shot of alcohol, shoving it in her mouth in those little miniature bottles that you can get in those fancy trains or airplanes. And she was having the shakes. She couldn't keep herself together. She was getting ready to walk out of that car and blow Michael's head off, but she couldn't do it. And I did say I was right what I saw. In the posters where you just see the corner side of Michael staring like that and you only get to see one eye, but if you look closely you'll see how damaged his eye was. And if you all know what I'm talking about, the night before he got stabbed in the heart by Laurie, he got stabbed in the eye by a foldable clothes hanger where you can just, you know, twist it, you know, those old-fashioned types, directly stabbed him in the eye, and then for 40 years it still remains damaged. And one silly thing I didn't notice, the needle point stab neck, I didn't pay attention around that as well. Like, can I see, is the scar there? I was more focused on the eye, so like to see if I was right. But she couldn't go through with it, she couldn't do it. She even showed up at the dinner when she said she was gonna, but the mother never told her because her daughter wanted her mother to stay away from her granddaughter. And she basically broke down. She says, I'm so sorry, I'm sorry. I wanted to kill him, I couldn't do it. And her daughter and her son-in-law were being complete dicks, but the granddaughter, she understood how hard it is, because I mean, for 40 years her life was completely destroyed. Her teenage years were destroyed because of that night. And then came to a story short that both the granddaughter and the boyfriend, who looked really happy together when I saw them at the start, they were going to do Bonnie and Clyde, but they weren't going to tell the parents what they were going to do, because I mean, nowadays they're doing it now. There's a lot of people who are doing male cosplays and female cosplays, you know, changing them around. They were going to do a reverse gender costume of Bonnie and Clyde, where the girl is Clyde and the guy is Bonnie, which was quite funny to see. And then she got a phone call from one of her girlfriends saying she's babysitting her favorite kids. She loves babysitting because apparently he's a lot of great fun. And they were looking for them to come. And then her boyfriend shows up, and I think it was kind of a cheesy romantic thing, tattooed the day that he was going to lose his virginity to his girlfriend. And technically, she said she was turned on, and she says, and I quote, I'm definitely going to dry hump you tonight. Come here. And they just basically snogged the hell out of him. And then they heard a strange noise, and then that's when they saw Michael Myers hidden behind that kid's closet. When you hear the title from the first trailer, can you close the closet door? Slice of the arm, dragged by the leg, and stabbed repeatedly. Then the boyfriend stormed in after playing about with the motorcycle, and then completely let it flat down. Basically went face first to the wall with a knife in the back of him. And then while the party was still going, the boyfriend and his best friend were getting shit-faced, which of course he tried to bail out from, but I guess he was just wanted to do it. And then while the granddaughter was looking for him, she caught him making out with another girl. As typical as always in these American high school horror movies, you see the boyfriend making out with a total high school slut, which of course she wasn't really, she was an actress playing a part. And then he thought it was a good idea to be the dominant male and telling her that he'll only do what he says by grabbing her phone and shoving it into the eggnog and saying, are you gonna get it or should I? In other words, I dare you to get that phone, and try to change the subject. And then she just basically said in her words, fuck you, I'm done. And then the ex-boyfriend's friend wanted to help her out, but only to get a shot at her. But smart as she is, she turned him down. And then he got his head rammed into a spiky fence and he got stabbed. And that's when we get to see another familiar scene where she storms off, and then she sees Michael and bangs into houses. But all that's before what I saw that I never expected to see. The bus crashed. All the inmates were walking about. The doctor was fine. He was only unconscious. And the driver, he just got the hell beat out of him. And then Michael hid in the car, but basically broke the father's neck. You can actually see the bridge of the neck coming basically under his jaw, because he basically broke it from one side, and you can actually see the bump of the neck instead of where it should be supporting the skull. And then the kid got killed, basically bashed into the door, and then got his neck snapped. And then instead of all the neighbors ignoring the scary girl being terrified, they actually let her in and called the police, which was clever, which was decent for a change. And I'm surprised that asshole boyfriend didn't get killed, because he deserved a good killing after being a complete dickhead. Well, I think him walking around in tights and skirt and heel and then getting dumped by your girlfriend dressed as a guy is probably humiliating enough, but a lot more payback's a bitch for her. And then the daughter and the son-in-law was sent to Laurie's house, where she had everything prepared. She had a rack of guns, and she named them all, and she named the capacity, she named the gunpowder, and all the son-in-law was doing, spending most of the night, was playing with a damn yo-yo. And he was the first to die by being choked to death by a chain, which, yeah, because I didn't like him that much anyway. But then, here's this one scene that stayed in my head all night last night, all day today, and right now. When it came to the point where Laurie, the daughter, and the granddaughter were in this one house, and one thing I didn't see coming, when he burst through the doors, grabbing Laurie by the face, not only he got stabbed in the eye, stabbed in the neck, stabbed in the heart, he got 2 fingers blown off. And I was all like, Jesus, dude, you are seriously getting screwed up. But I still love you, Mikey. And then things are starting to get really serious. Laurie got stabbed and she got chucked out of the window the exact same way as Michael did when Dr. Samuel Loomis shot him down. And then Michael looked down at her, and looking at her at the exact same position where she was lying, right in the balcony, the bottom part of the balcony, you get to see her lying there, not moving. And then the granddaughter shouts out where her mum and grandmom is. He turns over and he listens, but then when he turns around, she's gone. And you get to hear the exact same thrilling music as you heard when Dr. Samuel Loomis witnessed that Michael Myers was gone that night. And then the hidden room underneath the kitchen chopping table, Michael literally ripped it off from the hinges, and then you get to see this personal sniper rifle that belonged to the daughter, but she didn't want to pick it up, but she had to protect her daughter, and she had to see if her mom was okay. Then ripped off from the hinges, and then he wasn't there. And then she held up the gun, and then she started to get terrified. She was saying, "Mom, I'm sorry, I can't do this, I can't do this." And then suddenly he shows up, and then she said, "Gotcha," and gunned him right then and there. And then the part where you saw Michael Myers' face appear from the shadows and then stab Laurie in the arm, then she fell into the flight of stairs. She did the exact same thing to him. All you saw was this bloody face. Amy Lee Curtis herself, she says, "Happy Halloween, Michael," stabs him in the back, whacks him in the face with a frying pan, falls down to that cellar. But it wasn't a cellar, it was a trap. She pulled the lever, sharp poles appeared from the edge of the entrance. It says, "It's not a cellar, it's a trap." And then he just, like I said, this scene was played repeatedly in my head, and all you saw was a spark of a flare, and all you heard from Laurie was, "Goodbye, Michael." He stood there. Probably from that point he knew that he's screwed, and then the entire house was set on fire. And then the 3 female members of the Strode family drove off into this pickup truck. And then all you saw was the granddaughter holding the knife that she repeatedly rammed into Michael Myers' arm and repeatedly stabbed him with it. Then they just drive off, and then it hit the title, Halloween. And then near at the end of the credits, we thought we were going to see something alternate. We just get to hear Michael Myers doing his creepy breathing for one last time. And after 5 months of waiting for this movie to happen, I have been thrilled. And yes, I did say I was going to dress up as Michael Myers, but unfortunately my 2018 licensed Michael Myers mask wasn't going to show up in time, and I was going to wear it on the midnight opening, and then last night when I was going to see it, I just couldn't be bothered to do it. But hopefully when the time is right, I get to do something like that. Like say, like if somebody's going to do a year anniversary of the movie, I'll show up as Michael Myers or something. Or make my own short film of Michael Myers, because I remember back in high school I did my own short film of Michael Myers, but I never made it online because I can't really remember the reason. But I hope you enjoyed my review, and please stay tuned for my next review, which I will upload sometime tomorrow, which is the Arrowverse review of the new season episode 1s of Flash, Arrow, Supergirl, Black Lightning, and Titans. So guys, I hope you enjoyed my videos. I hope you enjoyed all my other well, I hope you enjoyed all my videos. And again, YouTubers and YouTuberettes, I am ConorArmCEO. Thank you, and over and out.